Hello, welcome to this History Revision podcast on the SDP. What was it? Well, it was a party founded by four senior ex-Labour politicians. Why did they leave the Labour Party? Well, partly because of the Trotskyist infiltration of Labour by militant tendency, etc. Partly because of the policy changes at the 1981 conference to CND support and withdrawal from the common market in the Labour Party. Also the deselection of MPs, Eddie Milne and Dick Taverne, for example. Some of them left because Healey's arrogance that the centrists had nowhere else to go forced them out. There's also the Wembley Conference hecklers from the left wing of the party, and the domination of Labour by the unions they were not happy with. The split in the party, though, generally started with the 1973 split over the European, and these were the pro-European Labour MPs. Were there any SDP before that, or similar groups? Well, there was a campaign for democratic socialism in the 1950s to support the Gateskites, and there had been something called the Manifesto Group, which was a group within the Labour Party in the 70s, and Jenkins had set out the need for a centrist party in the Dimbleby Lecture, an annual BBC lecture, and Jenkins gave his lecture in 1979, and this has often been seen as the first step of setting up the SDP. So who were the Gang of Four? The Limehouse Declaration by Bill Rogers, Shirley Williams, David Owen and Roy Jenkins had been secret right up until the last moment in 1981. Jenkins and Williams had to win by-elections to actually get in Parliament, and Jenkins became leader of the party. What did they want? They wanted a middle way between the loony left and Thatcherism. They wanted to be a party like various other social democratic parties in Europe, and they said themselves, the SDP exists to create and defend an open, classless and more equal society which rejects prejudice based upon sex, race, colour or religion. So what did they do? Well, the SDP joined an alliance, not a merger, with the Liberal Party in 1981 within months of setting up. This was called the Alliance, with joint leadership between Roy Jenkins and David Steele. They had a strong start with over 50% approval ratings and success in by-elections. Some sensational ones, like the ones that Williams won in safe Conservative seats, like in Crosby. In 1981, at a conference, David Steele said, "Go back to your constituencies and prepare for government," which showed their confidence, but was also a little unrealistic. In the 1983 election, 25% of the vote was given to the Alliance, but that put them third, just behind Labour, and they suffered with seats because of the first past the post system. And out of the 23 Alliance seats won, only 6 of them were from the SDP. After 1983, David Owen took over from Roy Jenkins, and David Steele was moving more to the right, and David Owen plays down the Alliance more. By 1987, their vote had dropped to 22% of the vote, and only 5 of the seats for the SDP out of the Alliance seats, which overall was 22. David Steele suggested an actual union of the parties and a merger, and the merger happened in 1988. They became the Social and Democratic Party in that year, and the Liberal Democrats a year later in 1989. Owen left, and the Lib Dems elected Paddy Ashdown as leader. So let's have a look at some historical interpretation. Even close friends in the Labour Party thought they were wrong not to carry on the fight from within the party, like Gateskill had done, and Bevan. Others would say that they tried throughout the 70s, and the left in the early 80s was so strong and loony that they felt compelled to leave. They were seen as traitors to more left-wing Labour MPs, and some have suggested that Labour was helped by the split to look at itself and its electability. Others have said that the SDP was only needed until Kinnock took over from Foot in the Labour Party. You can see it as that they either weakened and divided the Labour Party, or that they brought about the Blair revival. Some have said that there was actually deliberate voting for Foot in his leadership election over Healey, and that was to land Labour with an unelectable leader. Some have said that the alliance was motivated by the egos, or the SDP was motivated by the egos of both Jenkins and Owen. Conservatives said that SDP standard for still deciding policies, and Andrew Marr says that even more Labour MPs would have left if Hattersley had not persuaded them not to. And he also says that the Owen-Jenkins rivalry held the party back. That's it for this one. See you next time.